We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin. In our last episode, we talked about COVID. Since then, a new Omicron variant has been detected. While data is still being collected about the new variant, the Langone Medical Center at NYU noted that every virus mutates, and traditionally, each new variant is less severe than the ones before it. Hopefully, that stays true with this one. The Biden administration has announced a travel ban for South African nations where the variant has been detected. And this brings us to the topic for today, the crisis at the southern border. How does all that tie together? Well, how effective can a travel ban be when people can fly to South America and Central America and walk across the southern border? The southern border has been a disaster since the Biden administration took office. The administration has blamed the Trump administration, which they do for everything, but the Mexican president has said the border was under control during the Trump administration and puts the blame squarely on the policies of the Biden administration. The mainstream media focuses on the story that people are fleeing terrible conditions to come here. To a certain extent, this is true, but it overly simplifies the situation. The truth is that the majority of people making the trek are not coming from their countries of origin. They have already left the troubled areas and have been living in other countries. That being said, there is no reason for these people not to use the standard methods for coming to the United States. They have already left the danger areas, so they can apply for official status before coming to the border. The real story, however, isn't the illegal immigrants trying to come to America. The story is in the drug cartels who have taken advantage of these migrants, using them as a distraction to sneak fentanyl into the country. The cartels are also involved in human trafficking, forcing migrants and children into lives of virtual slavery. These criminals are using the migrant crisis to get into the United States, and these cartels have openly fired on border agents. Unprecedented numbers of known or suspected terrorists have crossed the border over this past summer, according to Rodney Scott, the outgoing Border Patrol chief. Scott told his 19,000 agents before retiring on August 14th that their national security mission is paramount right now, despite the Biden administration's focus on migrant families and children who are coming across the United States-Mexico boundary at record rates. More recently, since October 1st, more than 80 foreign nationals with criminal convictions or arrest warrants have been apprehended, and that's just in the past 7 weeks in the El Paso sector of the Border Patrol. That doesn't count for all of the other sectors across the U.S.-Mexico border. And these include drug traffickers, child predators, wife beaters, and violent gang members. 2 migrants recently encountered had gang ties and outstanding arrest warrants back in El Salvador. Another one from Mexico was wanted for homicide and returned to his country to face justice there. We've also had folks slip through the border and later be arrested because they committed homicide here in this country. The administration refuses to deal with this ongoing problem. Biden has never gone to the border, Harris went to the border only after former President Donald Trump announced he would visit the border. And on Harris's trip, she went to a holding facility and never actually went to the border itself to see the situation. As is usual for her, she laughed off the situation. The administration was recently caught relocating migrants around the country in middle-of-the-night flights. And these flights were taken to places completely without the knowledge of the local governors or mayors. Also, as the administration pushes its vaccine mandates, migrants are allowed to circulate with no vaccines, despite many of them testing positive for COVID. Further, the administration stopped construction of sections of the border wall, despite them being bought and paid for, throwing more taxpayer money down the tubes. The state of Texas has picked up the baton and is using razor wire, shipping containers, and anything else they can find to create a defensible border. The humanitarian crisis at the border is one of the administration's own making, with many migrants stating they came here because Biden's comments led them to believe they would be welcomed. The cartels and terrorist organizations have preyed on these migrants and used them to enter the United States. COVID numbers spiked in areas where the administration brought these migrants. While it's natural to feel sorry for the migrants who have made the journey to the southern border, the policies that brought them are also bringing increased crime, decreased national security, and increasing health threats. That's the raw, naked truth. You can catch each episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, as well as the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you next time.